Every digital audio workstation has taken its inspiration from the analog world of yesterday. The mixer windows designed to emulate consoles with faders and sends and pan knobs. Our plugins are even designed to look like and emulate the physical devices of the real world. But there is one connection that I hadn't made until recently. What are the plugin slots designed to emulate? Say hello to the original plugin format, the API 500 series. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is 100% the direct inspiration for your DAW's plugin mixer window having 8 slots. However, the similarities and the problems that the device solves are just a little too close to ignore. So the API Lunchbox is a format just like audio units or VSTs. It's portable, just like your computer, right? So all of those plugin slots come with you when you bring your computer, very similarly to how all the plugin slots come with the API Lunchbox when you bring it with you. You can add or remove plugin modules at will. If you have different units, you can just pull them out and pop the new one in. And most Lunchboxes have 6 to 10 plugin slots, very similarly to most DAW mixers. The 500 series modules are also really cost effective, very similarly to how plugins are a lot more cost effective than buying the really big hardware, the really old analog expensive gear, which is why we go for the plugins today. The 500 series was the plugin of yesterday, although of course it's incredibly popular still today. Also, since it's a format, it also standardizes a lot of things, which is also why it's a lot cheaper and cost effective. It's because it doesn't have to have like the power supply, because that's already provided with the chassis. The list really goes on and on. Now, since the beginning of my channel, I've mainly focused on UAD plugins and working in the box, very basic tutorials on how to set up the software, things of that nature. And I know a lot of you find my channel useful because you might be a songwriter, you might be an artist or a producer, really looking to grow in that avenue of creating music at home and being self-sufficient in your own home studio. The plugins today are downright amazing, but there is just something absolutely magical about electricity flowing through a piece of gear, turning a real physical knob, and feeling that change in your sound source and making music that way. I really wanted to make this video as a sort of introduction to the most affordable way to get into the analog world. So let me tell you about my new Lunchbox. I'm not exactly certain what I'm going to keep in it just yet. However, this is an 8-slot API 500 chassis. It delivers a consistent 250 milliamps of power to each module. It has a DB25 connector on the rear panel, and it keeps cable runs really clean. It's got some simple switches to chain together your signal all the way through the unit. So if you have a mic pre at the beginning, an EQ, a compressor, a de-esser, you can chain all of that all the way through without having to tie any of the cables together. It's just all internally on the PCB board inside of the device. It features some rubber feet, so you can just set it right on your desktop, and it's also got some optional rack ears if you want to put it in a rack. This device is incredibly cheap considering what it is and the name and the history behind it. It's only 470 bucks. I wish it came with the rack ears at 470 bucks, but I'm not going to complain. I know that the quality of this, it's an API, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Now that said, this is not the Bugatti of Lunchboxes. This is a Ford of Lunchboxes. It's an original. No frills, just straightforward, everything you need and nothing you don't need. And I'm just over the moon to finally have something, even if it's just a chassis. I'm finally excited to have an API logo floating around my studio here. Now, with all the thousands of software manufacturers and plugins and hardware that's out there, it's really important to me that I don't forget the history of where everything came from. I know I mention it to a lot of people, but with like the UAD plugins, I actually read the manual and there's a ton of history in there, and that history teaches you a lot about how to use the devices that those plugins are emulating. And this little slice of history, this little chassis and what it means, what it signifies, really wanted to share that with you guys. And a really big shout out to Daniel at Sweetwater. Thank you so much for tracking this unit down for me at your offices up there and getting it to me so quickly. Really came in clutch and really helped me out. So thank you, Sweetwater, and thank you, Daniel. If you're new to recording and you have a passion for making music, recording music, don't ever stop exploring. Don't ever stop venturing out and trying something new. Maybe you try tape for the first time and get an old Porta Studio. Maybe you get a new piece of outboard gear and you don't know how to use it yet, and you try using it in a way that makes total nonsense, really. Don't ever stop doing that. If you found this video interesting at all, please consider supporting the channel at thestevekinney.com. I have my console classics packs and heritage classics packs available. I also do one-on-one mentoring. Happy to do it. I've been connecting with a lot of people from my channel, and that's been really rewarding. So yeah, feel free to do that. And to everyone who's been watching and supporting the channel over the last year, thank you. And thanks for watching this video. I know I didn't really cover a whole lot outside of some sort of theoretical meaning of what the 500 chassis means to me, but give it a like, subscribe to the channel because I know you want to see what I'm up to next, and leave a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Cheers, guys.